One of the challenges in researching this film was figuring out what was what was propaganda and what was fact. For example, just for this video, let's focus on the claim that cattle grazing is of ecological importance, that it is actually beneficial to the habitat. For every paper that's been published, for every article out there, for every person willing to make a claim backing up one side, I have the exact same claiming the opposite. So how do I know what's what? They can't both be true.
Let me be clear. There's absolutely no scenario in which native habitat is better with livestock than without it. Livestock can provide certain very specific benefits in some instances, but overall the land is going to be worse with cattle on it. If cattle are not native, and cattle are not naturally evolved animals, so they're not native to anywhere, but certainly the western U.S., which is a much more fragile ecosystem than back east. There's no ecosystem in this part of the country that can support cattle without doing great harm to the ecosystem.
How do you explain that I can also find reports coming from certain people and institutions saying it's beneficial?
Well, there are politicians and scientists who are influenced by the grazing and ranching industry, whether it's personally influenced or financially influenced or both. And so that's what they're going to say, and that's what they're going to think. As you know, to paraphrase Upton Sinclair, it's impossible to get someone to realize what they're doing is bad if their living depends on doing it. But you can also get, for all those scientists and politicians, you can get other scientists and politicians to refute all their nonsense because they're not influenced by those industries. So, always follow the money. And it's not just money. I mean, some people go to ag schools like UC Davis or Texas A&M, and it's almost equivalent to a religion. They're supposedly teaching science, but it's a very skewed science and perverted science that's not really teaching truth. It might be teaching facts, but it's not teaching truth. Yeah. And so they learn all this stuff that's just plain wrong. And if you go to an ag school, your purpose in life is supporting the agriculture, whether it's agribusiness or a family farm or whatever, but you're supporting that kind of thing, and that includes animal agriculture, which is the cattle. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to think, oh, maybe this is bad.
There's a surprising amount of similarities and parallels in this topic as with my work with sharks, and I want to share some insights on that. At one point when I was filming sharks, I wanted to pursue shark interaction and wanted to back that up with academic study, and therefore I was looking into animal behavior programs. And I was very disturbed to find in that pursuit that the bulk of the curriculum for these various programs was based on how to more efficiently turn animals into slaves or how to more efficiently turn them into food. Obviously, that's not the type of animal interaction that I was interested in. Point being that people think California is all hippies and liberal, but it's actually vastly agricultural, and that includes its universities. And I'm running into so many of the same issues, including some of the challenges I faced when interviewing scientists in my shark documentaries. So many now are more like politicians and scientists, carefully guarding their responses, carefully stating things that won't get them in trouble in pursuit of their careers, that won't get them in trouble with their sponsors, with their funding, rather than the focal point being helping the animal that inspired them to get into that career in the first place. Follow the background of every researcher who supports sustainable fishing that in fact looks every bit like the rape of the ocean that it is. Look at scientists who oppose shark fin trade bans. NOAA is a constant reminder with the decisions that they make that they are in fact a part of the Department of Commerce, not a Department of Conservation.